Good morning. My name is Alan Salazar. I'm the newly minted but not so young CEO of Denver Water, and it is my honor to welcome you all to Denver Water's campus. This is a one-of-a-kind campus, unique in the nation, if not the world, for its application of green energy and water conservation technologies. For example, I recently had a tour of a system we call RUFUS, one of Denver Water's many acronyms. It stands for Reuse for Us. It is the first system in Colorado that treats wastewater on site to create recycled water. And it's just one of many efforts underway at Denver Water to maintain our reputation as a leading institution supporting innovation, conservation, environmental stewardship, and resiliency in the face of climate challenges. And Governor, we work closely with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to permit and approve RUFUS. And Governor, while we're not quite ready to unveil a toilets to faucets program, we may be getting closer. It's also my distinct honor to welcome and recognize the president of Denver Water, the Denver Water's Board of Commissioners, my boss, Dominique Gomez, and my other boss, Commissioner Gary Reef. Also, want to acknowledge my former colleague, Dan Gibbs, who's the Executive Director of the Department of Natural Resources. And I want to also acknowledge and thank a current colleague, Christina Burry, who will be speaking about our collaborative work, including forest to faucets, and is going to be more eloquent on this topic than I can be. The Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program is likely something our 1.5 million customers have not heard about, but they need to be aware that it represents a significant investment in protecting our water supply by protecting the forests and watersheds our reservoirs and water delivery systems rely upon. It can potentially replace and rebuild reservoirs and water infrastructure, but you can't rebuild a forest that has been burned down due to catastrophic wildfire. So the connection between the health of our forests and watersheds and our water delivery systems is something that is at the very top of our concern. And these proactive investments in mitigating wildfire risk that we're celebrating today have a direct impact on the security and resiliency of the water systems that our water customers rely upon. So in addition to welcoming you to Denver Water, I also want to thank our governor and the Colorado State Legislature for their wisdom in funding this important program. Some of you may know that I've had the honor of working for two governors, former Governor Roy Romer and former Governor, now U.S. Senator John Hickenlooper. And in all of my years of public service, I've never had the opportunity to actually formally introduce a governor.
It's not possible, Alan. I don't believe that's not credible.
It's totally true. Never had that opportunity. The work of leading a state, particularly in this day and age, is daunting. Look at the headlines. Look at the challenges. It's difficult work, and the most you can hope for in a leader is someone with vision, someone with energy, and someone with creative efforts to solve problems in the public space. And we have that in Governor Polis, and so we're very fortunate to have him here, but Governor, we're more importantly fortunate to have you as our governor.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. It's good to see you. You know, Alan mentioned he was former colleagues with Dan Gibbs. They both worked for then Congressman Mark Udall at that time is when they worked together some time ago. And Senator Udall too, or no? Just Congressman? Did you do Senator or did you do Congress? You did Congress, yeah. They both worked for who was my congressman at the time as well. Today we're announcing $4.5 million in funding for some really amazing projects that will up the bar in protecting Coloradans from wildfire, especially in the wildland-urban interface. This is called the Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program. You might hear us refer to it as CO-SWAP, these acronyms, it's a little bit shorter. And these projects really matter. I want to thank Denver Water for hosting us today, Director Dan Gibbs, at the Jefferson County Conservation District, the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District, the Colorado Youth Corps Association members. We have some here with us today. We're very excited to be able to work with the AmeriCorps and the Youth Service Corps to be able to reduce the cost and increase the efficiency of a lot of these programs. A couple things I want to point out, and the list of 29 projects, $4.5 million is online. Every project, they range from tens of thousands to the low hundreds. City of Pueblo is one of the bigger ones. Cub Creek roadside mitigation, Custer County mitigation. They all actually have timelines attached to them too. So these are mostly 8-week up through maybe 30-week projects, usually in the 10 to 20-week range. So they will be done with these resources relatively quickly. That will improve fire safety across Colorado for homeowners and for sensitive areas. And it's exactly the kind of work that we need to do to adjust to the new reality of the greater fire risk from changes in climate and changes in demographics in our state. When it comes to improving forest health, these grantees are working to reduce the amount of fuel for potential fires. We've already seen these efforts work, with flames stopping short of homes and businesses because of effective treatment. We know that we can't prevent every fire, but we can ensure that we're prepared to fight fires that break out and prevent them from spreading into heavily populated and sensitive areas, which is exactly what these grants we're announcing here today do. Now, in our third year, Colorado CO SWAP has supported over 83 initiatives, and this adds 29 to that number. Each one plays a key role in protecting watersheds, promoting forest health, reducing wildfire risk, and we've already seen the transformative impact of this work across the state. I want to highlight a few of the projects that have already been done. In Evergreen, the Mile High Youth Corps worked with the Evergreen Fire and Rescue to complete 10 acres of fuel reduction for a very important evacuation route in the Evergreen area. In Pueblo, co-swap grants were used for 18 acres of wildfire mitigation in and around the city of Pueblo. In Jefferson County, the Elk Creek Fire Protection District is completing 400 acres of treatment and defensible space in Elk Creek Park, Beaver Creek Ranch, and many more. And this will add 29 to the list. All of these projects done in a matter of weeks to months. And this work improves forest health. I want to thank our partners, the Colorado Water Conservation Board's Wildfire Ready Watersheds, the hard work of Conservation Corps, our strong partnership with the Colorado Youth Corps Association, Mile High Youth Corps, also gives great job training for the young people involved to prepare them for their careers. Co-swap grants have made a real impact in protecting forest health, increase in wildfire resistance across our state, and with these new grants today, we're expanding the scope and the scale of this important work. We never know when or where the next wildfire will be, but we know that it will occur, and it's why we need to take these proactive steps to prepare and prevent small sparks from becoming destructive wildfires, and wildfires reduce the risk of impacting homeowners, communities, and sensitive areas. And that's exactly what these 29 grants will do, and the 84 projects that have been completed to date have already accomplished in communities across our state. Thank you, and I'm happy to turn it over to the Director of the Department of National Resources, Dan Gibbs.
Thank you, Governor. It's a great honor to be here with you, Governor Polis, along with Chief Executive Officer of Mile High Youth Corps, Kia Abdul, as well as Mile High Youth Corps members, as well as the General Manager of the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District, Andy Rossi. Thanks, Andy, for being here, as well as Christina Burry, who is in charge of watershed science for Denver Water. Christina and I have worked together for many years. Also want to thank Governor Polis for his leadership and the bipartisan support for the Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program, which is now a permanent program. It really started out as this pilot project, but now we have $6 million moving forward annually to really focus on critical fuels reduction around the state with a focus of protecting life, property, and critical infrastructure. I also want to thank Denver Water for hosting us here today. I'm so excited to see my good friend Alan Salazar in this really important leadership role for Denver Water. We've already been working and communicating a lot over the last few months. Want to thank Christina Burry for your participation in the Colorado Forest Health Advisory Council. You do a tremendous job. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Madeline McDonald, who also has served with me in the National Wildfire Commission. Thanks for your leadership too, Madeline. So I've worked with Denver Water when I've had a couple different hats all throughout the years, and the impact of the Forest to Faucets program has been real for me and my community. I just think back to 2018 when the Buffalo Mountain Fire started above the Wilderness neighborhood in Silverthorne. I had previously worked as Summit County's wildfire mitigation specialist, and it was amazing to see how Denver Water put money towards the U.S. Forest Service and how other communities pitched in to protect life's property and critical infrastructure. And for me, that's kind of the epitome of kind of what we want to strive for in Colorado. For our COSWAP program, we have a lot of really important partners that really make sure that we get the right locations in Colorado and focus on these strategic locations. So want to give a shout out to Division of Fire Prevention Control. I know Vaughn Jones is here. Vaughn, thank you for your great leadership. Also the State Forest Service, Weston Toll's here too. Thank you, Weston, for being here as well. As we go through all the applications, having both your lens on everything is so critically important to make sure we get that right. Also want to thank my DNR staff here, Allison and Courtney. Thank you so much for your leadership in running the COSWAP program. You have really hit the ground running, and I remember vividly interviewing with you all, and I said, are you ready to make history in Colorado? Because we're going to be really thinking big, and you've really just hit the ground running with this. You all know Colorado's wildfire crisis is really at a critical juncture, and it really needs immediate, decisive action to protect lives, homes, business, and critical infrastructure. In my opinion, we're one lightning strike, one unattended campfire, and one more drought season from Colorado's next mega fire. As a wildland firefighter myself, I fought numerous fires around in Colorado and throughout the West. I've never seen the intensity that I saw in the Cameron Peak fire, or also the huge impacts of after fires that I witnessed in the Grizzly Creek fire that was in the Glenwood Canyon area. And I know Denver Water knows this extremely well when you look at after fires and the impacts that you have. The 2020 fire season really taught us that the status quo of forest health and wildfire mitigation programs really doesn't cut it, that we have to do more. We have to do more to partner with our federal partners. We need to do more to partner with nonprofits and local communities. I'm really proud to see COSWAP program grow into the area. And now we're announcing the second round of grants with diverse funding that includes federal ARPA funds. The COSWAP is making critical investments in forest health and fuels reduction workforce, including work with Mile High Youth Corps, work with Colorado Youth Corps Association accredited firms, and really want to give a shout out to Scott Segerstrom. He is the head of Colorado Youth Corps. It is the umbrella organization for most youth corps, and Scott, you're just such an amazing partner for us, so thank you so much. COSWAP also continues to partner with Department of Correction SWIFT programs, providing funding within 3 hours from the Canyon City facility to help reduce wildfire risk to those communities and critical watersheds. And we're also joined with Mitch Karstens. Where's Mitch? Thank you, Mitch, for joining us. Really appreciate your leadership. The governor mentioned some of the accomplishments, and I just want to rattle off a few of the highlights, really. But we have $2 million for 13 projects using Colorado Youth Crews, totaling 165 weeks of Youth Corps service. Also includes $1.6 million for 3 projects using DOC SWIFT crews, $500,000 for 9 mitigation grants, and then also $260,000 for 2 mitigation projects using Teens and Corp, a conservation corps based in Boulder County, and then also $2 million in federal funds for 2 government entities for watershed-related grants for our landscape resilient projects. So since the inception of COSWAP, we've invested $22.5 million on federal, tribal, state, operated county, and municipal lands. And then to give you a snapshot of our landscape resilient investment program that continues to grow, the Colorado legislature recently invested $30 million for our CWCB, our Colorado Water Conservation Board's Wildfire Ready Watersheds program. Chris Sturm, Chris, are you here? Chris is the lead of that program. So that includes $10 million from American Rescue Act funds, and that's just been so critical. The DNR and many of our state agencies have received American Rescue Act funds. CDBCB board received these $10 million for the Wildfire Ready Watersheds program, which really works with local communities to utilize LiDAR technology to help analyze when we do have major fires, where those bigger impacts to watersheds will be. So it's just critical information that local communities really need to have a plan for future fires. So now I'd like to invite Kia Abdul from Mile High Youth Corps. She's the Chief Executive Officer, to speak on the impact of KUSA Workforce Development Program. So Kia, you're up next. Thanks.
Thank you for everyone that's joining us here today, and a special thank you to Governor Polis, because without their vision for KUSA, it wouldn't be possible for Corps members to continue to provide critical wildfire mitigation within our community and to continue protecting our beautiful state of Colorado. KUSA, Workforce Development Grants, enable our organization, an organization like Mile High Youth Corps, to do what we do well, which is give young people the tools they need to serve, steward, and succeed. We know that our Corps members are entering the workforce with confidence and a much stronger ability to make informed decisions about their future. As one of our Corps members, Nessa, shared in a recent interview, this program really picks people up and gives them patience and support to further grow, but also gives them an opportunity to test the waters within the professional environment that they're going into. Thanks to support from KUSA, Mile High Youth Corps has expanded the number of 18 to 24-year-olds we served by 25 members over the last 2 years. These KUSA projects are excellent training grounds for the next generation of stewards. They are both diverse in scope and scale. These projects are the result of dynamic partnerships that place our Corps members in position to protect lives, property, and infrastructure, all while developing leadership skills such as collaboration, feedback, compromise, and trust. KUSA funding also allows us to affect landscapes at scale, a scale we've never been able to do before, while simultaneously allowing our Corps members to engage in career-strengthening workforce development experiences. Mile High Youth Corps is receiving over $1 million to support critical fire mitigation projects within the Front Range wildland urban interface. We will complete 8 projects over the next 2 years, affecting 428 acres, which is about half the area of Central Park in New York City. That will be completed over 99 weeks. These young adults are gaining certifications, skills, and hands-on experience in forestry and natural resource management that are preparing the next generation as forestry technicians, wildland firefighters, park rangers, and leaders within their communities. Most of this is possible because of KUSA. This is something that every Coloradan can be proud of. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kia. DNR is very proud to work with you and other Corps members. In addition to the workforce development, KUSA makes strategic investments through its Landscape Resilient Investment Program, which is funded through the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Now I'd like to introduce you all to Andy Rossi, who's a general manager for the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District. Thanks.
Thank you all. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Denver Water, for hosting us. As Director Gibbs said, my name is Andy Rossi. I am the General Manager of the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District. And much like my previous speakers, I would like to first extend my gratitude and my thanks to Governor Polis and our state legislators who really recognized the increased risk to our communities for wildfire when they had a chance to pass Senate Bill 21-240. And that bill really set the foundation for all the programs that we're here to celebrate. So thank you. Your leadership on that has been exceptional. Thank you very much. I also would like to thank directly Division of, or the Department of Natural Resources, and especially Chris Sturm at the CWCB and the Wildfire Ready Watersheds program. You know, that work group's efforts to really sort of step up our game in analyzing the wildfire risk to water resources infrastructure has been game-changing for organizations like ours. I also want to make sure I thank both Allison Lurch and Courtney Young there at the COSWAP program. They are the ones who reached out to us and really ultimately connected the ARPA funding to a rural West Slope organization who's really eager to expand our efforts into forest health management. Now, at the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District, we are one of the leading water management agencies in Northwest Colorado. And really, our responsibility is to conserve, protect, and enhance the water resources in the Yampa Basin. And so for the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District, traditionally and historically, that's meant that we've worked to develop storage projects, agricultural infrastructure, and all of this in the headwaters of the Yampa River Basin. More recently, we've expanded our analytical programs to make sure we have the tools to ensure that our reservoirs and our other operations remain adaptable and nimble as we experience the changing climate that results in changing needs for our water users on the West Slope. And so really what we are able to do now is that we've gone through great lengths to manage all of this infrastructure for decades. And to protect that critical water supply, we really have to start looking beyond just the infrastructure. In the Yampa Basin, we have a relatively small amount of storage compared to the rest of the basins in the state. So what that means to us is that in the Yampa Basin, we really rely heavily on the hydrologic production of the natural environment for most of our water supplies. And that's a critical difference compared to many other basins in the state. Really, that limited water supply and limited infrastructure means that we are critically dependent on the health of our watershed and our forests. So the Upper Yampa Water Conservancy District is honored to receive this funding and to start partnering with our state and federal agencies and private landowners to try to come together in a collaborative way to start using both traditional and maybe newer non-traditional methods to start addressing the risk of wildfire to our water supplies in rural communities. And we really hope that this collaborative effort will set a blueprint for long-term stewardship of our largest and most important reservoir, the natural environment. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Pardon me, I'm remiss here, but I would like to introduce one of our hosts here, Christina Burry from Denver Water.
Every Denver and Aurora resident and business benefit from the Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program because it protects their drinking water. As a watershed scientist, I work to protect Denver water's supply and infrastructure from the costly and devastating impacts from catastrophic wildfires. In addition to my day job, I'm also the board president for Jefferson Conservation District, which has been awarded this amazing opportunity. Protecting water supplies starts with healthy forests. Forests are the natural reservoirs for our water supplies. Denver Water and Jefferson Conservation District have been partnering for years through the From Forests to Faucets partnership to reduce wildfire risk to protect Denver's water supplies. Denver Water and our customers directly benefit from the Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program because it leverages Denver Water's investment to make everyone's dollar go further for a greater result on the landscape. As board president of Jefferson Conservation District, I'm proud to accept the second round of COSWAP funding from Department of Natural Resources. Together with members of the Upper South Platte Partnership, we will leverage these funds against federal and private sources to conduct over 400 acres of forest restoration on private lands near Bailey, Colorado. These projects will be in the North Fork of the Upper South Platte watershed, and this landscape provides water supplies for Denver, for Aurora, and numerous downstream agricultural users, as well as abundant recreation opportunities. It takes a resilient forest at the scale of thousands of acres on public and private lands alike to protect these important values for our state. These strategic investments are protecting critical water supplies, watersheds from the costly impacts of catastrophic wildfires. Thanks to Governor Polis, the Colorado Legislature, Director Gibbs, and Department of Natural Resources for these investments that help protect Denver water supplies now and for our future generations. Thank you. And we'll open it up for questions. Thank you.
Any questions from the press? Great, thank you. There's a full list of recipients on the website, and I encourage you to check that out. 29 of them across the state. Very excited to see this work done to protect our watersheds, improve forest health, reduce wildfire risk. Thank you all for joining us.